Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia and I am your host and wedding photographer based in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. Today on the podcast we have a lovely couple, Courtnee and Maria. We chat through their love story and how they proposed to each other. We talk about struggling to find representation in weddings as a queer takatapui Māori couple. We chat through prioritising the most important things and things that they chose to DIY themselves. How they almost ended up with the same wedding dresses. We talk about having a big whānau and narrowing down numbers when that is the case. We chat through rain and rainbows on your wedding day, dealing with finances, planning a wedding as students, how they use TikTok for wedding planning, sticking to what represents you best and not necessarily listening to outside influences, why they both changed their surnames and created a new name, and so much more. I'm so excited to bring you this episode. I know you're going to love it, and make sure you go onto our Instagram at the Kiwi Wedding Podcast to check out some of their photos as well. They also have a bit of a TikTok following, especially Courtnee, so jump on over to her account to see a lot more wedding content, and I will link all of that in the show notes too, as well as all their amazing vendors. So enjoy episode 31 with Courtnee and Maria. Thank you so much for jumping on today. So excited to chat all about your love story and wedding.
Kia ora!
Kia ora!
So to get started, if you could just tell me a little bit about yourselves, how you guys met, and your life together.
Cute.
Go first.
Kia ora, ko Courtnee toku ingoa. My name's Courtnee. I am a student nurse at the moment. I graduate this year, yay me. And since out of school I've been a professional dancer, and I've been dancing for a little while now, and I teach heels and hip hop and contemporary. That's like a little bit about me. From Rotorua, born and raised. Yeah.
Kia ora ko Maria taku ingoa. My name's Maria. I've been born and raised in Auckland, but I've been having a few journey from travelling in and out from army, so this is my third year out of the army. Right now I am an apprentice in automotive mechanic, and this is my second year coming in, so still got a bit to go.
Yeah.
But been living here with Courtnee for the past couple of years and just got married a week ago. That's just how my life is going right now.
We've been together nearly 4 years now.
Yeah.
We met when Maria was in the army and I was a dancer. Maria messaged me online. She said that I was really gorgeous, and I was like, yeah, woman in uniform. Our story kind of blossomed when I moved up to Auckland, really to explore our relationship and my relationship with Maria. I really wanted to do my dance in Auckland, but also I was really interested in Maria's life, and I was smitten. I was very smitten.
Me too. I was very smitten.
And here we are nearly 4 years later, married. So, yeah.
Oh, so nice to hear. Love a little slide in online and that it's worked out. Can you tell me a bit about your proposal story, how all that went down?
Oh, yeah, you can go first. Because we proposed to each other. We're quite untraditional. We're a queer couple, obviously. So Maria proposed first.
Yeah, so I proposed to Courtney on the 22nd of May, 2022.
Oh, don't pull up dates.
I got the dates.
How am I going to pull up my dates?
I know the dates that you proposed to, so it's okay. But I proposed to Courtney where we first met, like eye to eye, which is in Devonport. And should I say? It was on a beach that was just down the road of where I used to live in the Navy barracks. And just popped the question with teary eyes and loss of words, but she knew what I wanted to do.
All 2 words before she said, will you marry me?
Yeah. And then I knew, or I hoped that she did say yes, but she did. She said yes. And yeah, for you?
Yeah, I literally had the ring with me when Maria proposed to me, and I thought about pulling it out, and then I was like, nah, I'll let her have her moment, because I'm quite dramatic, and I want my own, I want to propose, so I left it a little bit later when we went into Queenstown in June the 4th, yeah, and I proposed to Maria in Queenstown underneath it's not Arthur's Point, but it's a bridge that's not far out, just outside of Queenstown. Yeah, in the freezing cold. It was freezing cold, and I'm literally in my puffer jacket and my track pants, and I just got on one knee and I fully blacked out, but I said words.
Yeah,
I definitely
said
words.
some words.
I said some words.
Compared to me.
And I remember proposing to Maria, and she had like little happy feet like that penguin. Like, she was so excited, even though we were already engaged, but we got engaged ×2. Yeah, that's how we proposed.
Oh, I love that. So sweet and so special that you both proposed and just had those two special moments. And had you talked about getting married? Had you always like envisioned what that would look like? And yeah, in terms of like the vibe and style, how did you start with planning, finding a venue, all of that?
I think because was I living with you when the whole proposal happened? So it's sort of when I decided to leave the army, and I had this big vision of how I see my life with Courtnee, and from all the time I've been spending with her in Rotorua, we've always just had banter and talk about like where do we see ourselves like if we to marry and stuff, and we've always driven to Tarawera to go for swims and stuff, and we saw that there was a venue out there called Black Barn. So we're like, oh yeah, let's check out what Black Barn is.
Yeah.
And then so we went on Instagram and had a look, and I was like, wow, this is really our style.
Yeah, Tarawera is definitely home for us.
Yeah.
So like Rotorua in general, we knew we wanted to get married here. I have a social media presence myself on TikTok, and I knew that I wanted to portray our love the same way that I've done it online the entire time, which is through Te Ao Māori, everything queer. I just wanted a big fat gay wedding. That's all I had in my head, is just I wanted all our whānau to be there. No matter the time or money that it took, I just wanted us to have that moment for ourselves, because tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand is very real, and people don't like to celebrate big things. So I like Sun and my Scorpio, I just wanted something big and amazing, and something that everyone's going to be talking about for the next year. We actually weren't supposed to get married. We weren't supposed to be getting married at the Black Barn. We actually chose Longfords to begin with, because we're very close to the owner, Fenella. But when it came to food and catering and all that, it kind of just like sunk in place where we were going to get married, and it just like happened naturally.
Yeah.
Happened naturally and in itself. And yeah, then we met Shelley, who's the owner of Black Barn, and we did one viewing there, and we were just like sold. Like, whatever we have to do to get married here, we're gonna do it. So yeah, that's one thing that we really wanted to portray through our entire wedding process, was just like a lot of love, like a lot of Te Ao Māori. That's another big thing, is there's not a lot of queer takatapui Māori representation in weddings at all. Like, you could barely find a Māori wedding, let alone a gay Māori wedding, anywhere on social media. So we wanted to be that. I've always wanted to be that through my social media, is like to represent young queer youth and Māori. So I just wanted to do the same in my wedding planning. Yeah.
Love that. So excited for people to listen to this episode then and hear more about your story. And yeah, such a cool venue as well, such a stunning spot there, and nice that it's like has a personal connection and somewhere that you've visited before as well. And yeah, you've touched on a few things already, but yeah, what were the most important elements of the day for you, your kind of priorities when it came to vendors or yeah, vibe, style, all of that?
We had one of those wedding books where we wrote down in the beginning what was priority for us. What was yours, darling? Food. Kite.
Mine was the food and music.
Yeah, food and music. And me being a social media girly, it was a photographer, a videographer, and a content creator.
But also my third one would be the culture, because I find it's important to, you know, merge into the wedding sort of vibe or the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted people that were walking into our wedding to know that this was a Māori gay-ass wedding. Like, that was all, was part of my language, but that was all that was in my head. It's just like all I wanted people to feel and breathe when they came into our wedding. So, yeah, for me it was remembering those memories forever and capturing it in that way. And Maria's was the food. The food and the music and dancing. Doofs.
Nice, so good. Got to have good food at a wedding. Love all those elements. We're just making a day that really represents who you guys are. And can you tell me a bit about your wedding outfits? How was that process, finding them?
I found my dress like at least 8 months before the wedding. So I was quite well prepared with mine, luckily. I found my dress at Astral Bridal up in Auckland, in Albany. It was at the outlet Astral Bridal, so the second-hand dresses. And my dress is actually hanging up, but I wouldn't really show you right now because it's
dirty.
Still
Needs
needs
to go
that
dry
really well
cleaning.
cleaned. But when I first picked it, it was with my sisters and with my mum, and it was just very special because I don't want to get teary now, but so when I wore the dress, it reminded me of my nan, and with my nan not being around, I get complimented a lot growing up. So I was like, okay, so this must be the dress then if you guys are crying. So I wouldn't take it off. I was like, okay, it's sold. This is the dress that I want. But yeah, that's my story with my dress.
My dress story was very different. I actually went through 3 dresses before the day. The first dress that I bought was secondhand off another bride, and Maria actually came with me, but she never saw the dress. Once I brought that dress home, all of our bridesmaids called us and we were like, Courtnee, you bought the same dress as Maria. You have to sell it and buy a new one. And I had bought the same dress as Maria. And we are like 2 totally different women.
Great
like
taste.
never in my mind did I ever think that we were going to buy the same dress. But we did. And so I sold that, and then I bought another one. And I'm a really big gym girl, so I started almost, I would say, doing bodybuilding, and then I grew out of that one. So I bought my final last dress in Rotorua, and that was the dress that I went with, and it all just ended up perfect. And yeah,
it was good because it complimented my dress.
But it was hilarious. Like, we just couldn't stop talking about how we bought the same dress. For 2 girls that have totally different styles and backgrounds, like, it wasn't even a thought. Yeah, so that was funny.
What are the chances? That's so funny. And so you guys did have a bridal party, and how did you find choosing them? Was that an easy process?
So with me, I'm very close with my family than I am with my friends. So I've chose my 2 sisters, my 3 closest cousins. 2 of them are girls and 1 of them is a boy. So I just thought the people that have been really close to growing up would mean a lot to have them standing next to me throughout my journey, and especially some of my cousins that do live here in Rotorua, because just thought it makes sense having someone that's at home will be able to come around and help me whenever I need to do some planning. Where for my sisters, they all live around the place, so one of them live in Australia and the other live in Wanaka on the South Island. So it was quite hard to communicate with them, but it was still good. Luckily we've got Messenger and stuff, so we can just have a group chat. And
we're one of the first weddings to happen in our family in this generation. We're very young to be getting married, but no regrets.
no regrets.
So choosing bridesmaids for us, we thought was going to be just simple and easy like that. Going into the wedding planning, it's a completely different thought. You think, I'm just going to have my 5 closest people that up there with me. We have no regrets. We had the best day of our lives, but we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, like getting 2 big bridal teams and both being women. We both have girls on both sides, so we ended up with a good team of 10 bridesmaids that really meant a lot to both of us. I chose 5 of my best friends, and it was real easy for me to decide who I wanted up there with me. It just comes naturally. Like, I think when people ask me like advice about bridesmaids and stuff, I'm like, keep it small and just it all will happen how it's supposed to.
Nice. It's so much fun having like a big bridal party though, and just definitely kind of sets a vibe for the day, and it makes it more of a party, so I love that. And how many guests did you have, and did you find that quite a difficult process narrowing them down?
Oh, yeah.
We found it extremely difficult. We are a real big whānau. I'm Māori, Samoan, Fijian. Maria's Māori English, so we've got really big families. So we had 150 guests, and that might sound like a lot, but to us, we were struggling to cut that list down.
Yeah, because when we did our first plan of, like a draft of a list of guests, just to count what is the fair total that we've got, and it turned out to be nearly 300 people, including our distant whānau,
Yeah,
or like our
Polynesian
second whānau.
Polynesian families
So like,
are massive.
so we just got to have the immediate whānau. Sorry.
Yeah, we just kind of went with it. I think it's all meant to be. I definitely would have done less people, to be honest with you. Not that I regret anyone that was there or what had happened, but I think you get really caught up in thinking, oh, I've got to invite this auntie and that auntie, and oh, they've got to be there if their partner's in this. So yeah, knowing what I know now, I probably would have done it even smaller than what I did, but I don't regret our wedding at all. We just kind of went with who we think would be there to support us and who's going to be there going forward. We also had one of those good tips, like if we haven't spoken to them in a year, like get gone, like you're not on the list.
Yeah, we used a lot of those hacks on like Google or like Pinterest, like to see what some sort of ideas.
Well, it's a really good idea, yeah. And we just kind of sat down and sieved through family and friends and thought about moving forward as a married couple who would be there to support us, and who we think would be there in encouragement of our wedding and encouragement of our marriage. So that's the people that we had at the end of it. But there's always odd extras and the last minute ones. Even on the day, people will be like, oh, I'm just going to turn up for the ceremony. You really can't control it when you've got big whānau, so it all comes.
Yeah, oh, that's great advice though. Those little tips definitely help, and everyone says it's one of the most hardest things planning a wedding. Just have to be quite ruthless because venues can't fit that many people, or it's really expensive to feed so many people as well. So it's a tough process for sure, but sounds like it all worked out well for you. And can you just tell us a bit about the big day, how it all went down, and any highlights or favorite moments?
Me and Maria got ready together in an Airbnb just outside. So little things that I remember about our wedding is we were double booked for the accommodation at our venue, which threw us off our tracks completely in our wedding planning. But it all was meant to be. Like, we got an Airbnb straight away, and it's called Te Toroa House that you can see on my social media, and it's just stunning. Like, it's the most stunning Airbnb that we've ever been to.
It's like you're in a movie.
Yeah. And
it's like
yeah,
gorgeous.
It was amazing. So it all worked out how it was supposed to. So me and Maria got ready in the same home, and we kind of just like made our bridesmaids made sure that we're separated from breakfast onwards, which was really nice and a really untraditional way to do it. But that meant all our girls got to be together, because by the end of wedding planning, you get really close. Like, your team gets really close. So that was a really good way to stay together. On the actual wedding day, it was supposed to rain, and we were freaking out because we were one of those brides that did not have a backup plan. We were like, nah, it's not going to rain. Like, I was so stubborn, and like,
we just manifested it.
Yeah, we were manifesting the sun to come out. So when we got married, it didn't rain the entire time, all the way up until we started putting the rings on and saying our I do's, and then our final kiss.
Like those little special moments.
Poured down with rain, and it was beautiful because after we did our first kiss and we walked down the aisle and the music started playing, we started running up all the way back up to the venue, and everyone just followed us with us, and everyone was running up behind us. And it must have been such a good shot. We're still waiting on our photos to come back, but I could just imagine like a herd of 150 people running after us, trying to get under shelter. So that was definitely a highlight. And then as soon as we got inside, this great big rainbow like came out, just overlooking the lake, and perfect for us. We're like, yeah, the gays, and we like got our videos and stuff.
Never trust the Apple weather.
So that was some definite highlights, and we had a photo booth at our wedding. That was a big highlight. people are still talking about that now. Yeah, you got any highlights?
My
Oh, the
highlights.
kai. Oh, we had the
see,
best
told
kai.
you
Sorry.
the food. So the highlight
We
was
had
the
the
food.
best food. We had a traditional hangi made by Rebecca Hapoki, I think her name is Hapuka.
Oh, Te Whānau Hapuka.
Oh my
I think
god!
they're from Hamilton. Is that right?
We all took our first bite, and us as a crowd all went, "Oh my god, this is the best food ever!"
It's just well done, like how they did it.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
Like the, how do you say it? Like the setup was very like aesthetic. Was that the
Yeah,
word?
very Māori.
So
It
like came in
harakeke.
harakeke baskets, but you know, still in the like the buffet trays, and obviously to keep them warm. But it's just well like presented. Like you would expect like when you get some hangi food that it's just on its own, but they actually like added some extra special like little ingredients to it or something to it to
we
make
had
it more like posh. I was like, oh, this is very good.
Your whānau was real beautiful too. Our whānau did a haka and a waiata for us.
Oh, yeah.
Highlights.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole day was a highlight. Brides always say a lot that the day goes by like that, but I genuinely didn't feel that on my day. I really got to soak it all in. And I was just so grateful after like nearly almost a year of planning, really. It just was like all there in front of you. And it's just so overwhelming because it just happens back to back, so many big moments, and you try to take it all in one span of a day, like signing a marriage certificate and speeches and huckers and waiata and food and, you know, the vows and like it just happens all like back to back and you try to absorb it all in, but it's not until the week after that you're like, oh my god, we got married.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was some of our highlights.
So good. So many special moments. It's probably going to take a while to fully sink in as well. And it's cool to chat to you when you're, so fresh and that like honeymoon feeling. And did you find anything hard about the wedding planning process? Is there anything you look back on and regret or would do a bit differently?
I don't think so. Like, I think double check the budget because of inflation.
Get ready for that budget to grow.
Make sure you save well, is what I can say. But no, I don't think we regret anything really, because I think maybe don't look too into like what you need to like book, such as, to be honest, florals, because I know that when they say, oh yeah, we need wedding florals, they just add an extra $100 onto that price. Do you know what I mean? So for us, what we did is that we literally went into the own backyard or our own ngahere out in the forest, and we just picked our own plants that we wished to use because that's our theme. You know, like we wanted it to be all native and Māori and home. So that saved us a lot, and especially.
Yeah, we got all native florals, and our bridesmaids actually made their bouquets like that night before the wedding, and it was perfect.
And it's cute too because it's like they add their own personal touch to it, and you can also do it the way that you want it to.
It was perfect. It looked like someone had made them, and we tarakeke and then we wrapped it around the base of the floral, so it just looked real professional. It was just like so easy to do. But there's not much that I regret for the wedding. Just definitely like financial stress towards the end. Just overcompensating. We bit off more than we could chew, is what I like to say. But I'm glad that we did because it all came together.
It all came together very well, and we were just very lucky it all like came to how we wanted to.
Yeah, Maria had a suit change midway through the wedding. And I never got the chance to buy myself a second outfit, and I would definitely buy a second outfit if I were to redo it again.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, just because after your big day, especially during summer, if it's really hot or if like for us it rained a little bit, and I just felt drenched. I just felt like I need to get changed, but I made do with the night, and it didn't really matter in the end, but that's probably something I would think about, and then definitely having less people, a little bit less numbers. We don't have to please everyone for our wedding. Everyone will be happy for us no matter what, and if they're meant to be there, then they will be, and if they don't get invited, they should love us anyway. So yeah,
exactly. And you just kind of touched on it, but that was my next question. Did you have a budget that you were sticking to, and if you're happy to talk about ballpark figure of what that was, or how you went with that? Did you blow the budget?
Yeah, our first initial budget plan was about 20k. We were like, yeah, we could do a wedding in 20k. we nearly doubled that. We nearly doubled it.
Easy too.
Oh my god, so easy too. We could have kept going as well. It's horrible. I remember when we first started wedding planning, we were like, oh, we'd never spend that much money on one day. What a waste of money. And it's definitely not a waste of money, I'll tell you that right now. We don't regret every single dollar that we spent. It was worth it.
But I think the biggest tip though is that even though you do have this whole budget planning, but it's best to ask your whānau friends like for help if they have some sort of areas that they can help you with. Like we've got a couple of whānau friends that helped us, such as our friend Tamara. She's a landscaper gardener, so she's the one that helped us with all the bouquets,
all our florals,
and also all of our florals at the wedding, like all the at the end of the aisle, like the plants and like indoor decoration.
You have to definitely be creative, like how you're. It's just really weird. It made me feel back in like my school era when you really get creative with things that you want to do and pull things together the way you want it. Like never in my wildest dreams did I want my bridesmaids to be making their bouquets the night before, but it was like so perfect and such a cool thing to do with everyone that I really don't regret it at all now looking back at it. And I always wonder, like, why was I so stressed about that during the wedding planning? We should have just done that to begin with. Like, there's literally no worries. Even our table numbers, we did a DIY where we smashed stone, and like I was really worried about it in the beginning, but after now looking back at the wedding, I'm like, that actually looks so cool, and I don't know why I was worried about it. Yeah, just trust the process is a big thing. And another thing that I thought about too, going back to the challenges, is being queer was a big challenge. Wedding expos, wedding journals, like representation and wedding Pinterest, everything was really hard for us. There's so many like groom and bride things and not enough bride and bride or groom and groom representation. At so many wedding expos, we got so many people asking us, who's the bride? Or, oh, you're the sister, like so many times. And there were so many of us queer couples there willing to get married, and it just got to a point where you're like, come on, you're a wedding vendor now. You should at least be open-minded that the people that are coming up to you could possibly be together. So that was one definite challenge, just going back to that, just thinking of that. But in terms of, what was the full question? It was our budget, yeah. We definitely went over. No regrets. We pulled together everything that we need to.
Don't get too caught into the expo. That's how...
We got right in that expo.
Too wrapped up.
Oh, but they say, you can have this, and we'll throw in a free sprinkler. Yeah. We'll throw in this, and we were like, sign my name up.
The expo is very dangerous, so be careful with the expo.
But that's where we did find lots of our amazing vendors too.
Yeah,
so
we did.
To their own. You got to be real strong-minded if you want to stick to that budget. We are very easily persuaded.
Oh, so easy to go over it as well. And then like you've usually never planned a wedding before, so you don't really know like how much things are meant to cost. And then there's all these little last minute expenses that come up even in like the week before. But yeah, that's great advice, just getting your whānau involved or friends that want to help, and people really do want to help usually with weddings. So yeah, look at their talents and put them to work.
Yeah, even with conversations like Polynesian family, it's really common to have koha and like gifts given to you. So also like having a sit down with our family to decide like what they do want to help with and what they don't, and what they're comfortable with, and you know what we went in, because we went in with the expectation that this is our wedding, and whatever we want to pay for and what we want to buy, that's on us. But any koha was welcome and accepted, and like very, very grateful for their support. So we did end up having some family support through like financially from our parents. So that was really good, but it wasn't even a quarter of what we spent on the wedding. So you just have to be prepared that you decided to have this wedding, and if this is what you want to do, you save for it and make sure that you're prepared and don't rely on anyone else, because this is your decision at the end of the day. Hey, darling?
Yeah, I think how we sort of estimated when we want to get married is like straight after that proposal, and just like with the lifestyle that we have, like us as students, but also could like potentially work, you know, full time. But it's just to estimate what you can save over the year or something.
Be realistic.
Yeah, like be realistic with your budget. Like if it takes this long for you to save up to this amount, then do it. Like don't try rush it. And yeah, just we're quite glad that we chose the date that we got because we managed to pull it through. And
the biggest advice that I can give for brides that are listening to this podcast now is to book in advance. Like, all of our vendors were booked almost nearly
especially
6
the
to
venue,
8 months in advance because of COVID, because all the wedding venues are all booked out because COVID brides are wanting to get married now. So
yeah.
And were you on a Saturday too?
Yeah, we were on a Saturday, so we were really lucky, and we had a date in mind because the 4th is really important to us. We got married on the 4th, engaged on the 4th. Mokokowai was on the 4th, so that was a really big date for us, and we wanted to get married on the 4th. But we just had to roll with the punches, and we ended up getting married on the 10th, and we don't regret it. And it went really well. So you have to be willing to be prepared. You've got to be real well organised.
Yeah, that's great advice as well, to sit down when you are trying to choose that date initially and think, how much do we need to save? How much time is that going to take us? And yeah, then obviously you're going to have to start inquiring with venues and see what the availability is. But yeah, sounds like you guys did well with that. And did you go on honeymoon straight away, or is that coming up? And what did planning that look like?
Nah, I'm on placement as a nurse currently in the hospital. So we knew that our honeymoon wasn't going to come after the wedding.
We wish we did.
Yeah, even after all the wedding planning, I just don't. The thought of mustering up flights and accommodation stabs me in the heart again.
But it doesn't doubt us that we could do it. As in, if we could pay for wedding, surely we could pay for a holiday someday.
So I think that our honeymoon will come for graduation and just before Christmas. So we want to go back to Europe. I've backpacked across Europe before I met Medea. So we want to experience that together and do something different and go and see some of Medea's family who weren't able to make it to the wedding from England. Yeah, so we'll probably do a big, great lesbian tour in December.
Love it. Something to look forward to. Hey?
Yeah.
Were there any helpful websites or apps, different resources that helped you during the planning process? You said you found a few people through an expo, but yeah, anything else that was helpful?
Yeah, our wedding website, so we did a paper invitation and also an electronic one for anyone that we couldn't drop off the paper one to, and it was sayi.do. That was a bloody amazing website. We used that throughout our entire wedding process. We created our entire website on our own, which was really cool because we got to personalize it, put our engagement photos on there. We got to put our love story on there that people could read. We had frequently asked questions on there. We had an RSVP button so we knew how many people were coming and not coming. We also had the date and just everything on there. We also had a schedule, you can make a schedule on there, the layout of the day, which all our guests really loved because they knew when they were coming to our wedding what to expect at what time. That way some people could come to the ceremony and then leave for the reception part, or vice versa. So sayi.do was a massive website that we used.
Yeah, we got complimented a lot about that website, saying it was very useful and helpful for them.
Yeah, and then obviously a really big one is TikTok. We use TikTok for our entire wedding. All the DIYs that you see, all of the content that I wanted to get, my photographer, my videographer, and my content creation are all inspired by things that I've seen from other brides on TikTok.
And Pinterest.
Yeah.
Pinterest is really helpful.
Yeah, just to get your aesthetic and your vision come to life.
Yeah. Oh, we do have, again, that it's like a wedding planner book that we got.
I Do Diary NZ.
It's been very helpful because there's a page in here that spans out all the timelines.
Checklists.
Yeah, it's like a checklist.
Yeah. But can I also say, if you're listening to this, who are they? I Do Diary. Can you please make a lesbian one? Because so many times I had to cross out groom and put bride.
Or cross out Maria.
Yeah, we were never able to find stationery that fitted LGBTQ. So if we could, that would be amazing. Vendors, if you're listening.
That was so really good though, because it just gave us a rough idea of okay, so we need to sort this out in this month, and it keeps us flowing and
really good journal.
Rolling the ball.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's a good one to know about. And you've already given a lot already, but is there any other advice that you would give to couples planning their wedding at the moment?
Let it go. Let it go. It's out of your
Elope.
control.
No, don't. Just kidding. If you want, no.
There's gonna be dramas. There's gonna be people are crazy about a wedding. I don't know if it's the moon and the stars or what happens, but people will feel very entitled to your wedding. And you need to stand together. I think going through the wedding planning made us so much stronger as a couple, I would say. We tackled a lot of family drama. We tackled a lot of financial stress. But we had so much fun, and like now that it's over, I'm like, oh, like my wedding planning's done. Like now, what am I gonna do with my Sundays? Like, what am I gonna do while I'm sitting in class? I can't like sit down and do wedding planning. I've got to actually listen. So,
I think every wedding has their own taste. Like not every wedding's the same. So don't be afraid to like use your own like flavors
and put yourself
ideas.
first. Yeah, put yourself first. There were so many times where people were like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I'm so glad that we were like, yeah, like this is me, this is what I want to do.
Don't let people doubt your ideas as well.
Especially as a queer couple, like we had a conjoint hen's do.
Yeah.
We had a conjoint hen's do and we got ready in the same Airbnb the day of, and a lot of people questioned that from us and said, like, that's not what you do. I don't care if that's what you do, that's what we do. It's your wedding, you decide the rules. There is no rules to a wedding. You could get married sitting down, you could get married, I don't know, in a KFC. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It's your wedding.
I reckon the titles meant there's no rules.
You
so
can
like,
wear
you
whatever you want to wear. Just like really take a step back and look at, is this for me or is this for other people? Because we needed to make sure that not only were we serving our whānau and making sure that they had a good day, but that it was genuinely us, that we enjoyed the kai, we enjoyed the setup, we enjoyed our signs. If people didn't like our florals and they wanted flowers, but we wanted native bush, oh well, that's for us. If people, that's the biggest thing. It's just do it for yourself and no one else. And at the end of the day, it's just a wedding. It's just a wedding. It's not that big of a deal.
The other thing is, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, I know it doesn't seem like it's normal, but it should be, because like I know that these days it's hard, like when it comes to inflation, but you know, like a lot of people out there willing to help you, like you said. So
love and support. That's another thing that I said a lot during the wedding process was, do not expect everyone's life to revolve around your wedding. I think a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, my bridesmaid should have done this or that. But actually, like, this is our wedding, and our everyday might involve around our wedding planning, but that doesn't go for everyone else. Everyone else has lives, and don't expect them to be doing everything for you just because it's your wedding day. It's just a wedding. Other people have important things to do, so it's being mindful of that as well, that you are not the light of everyone's life, okay? We met a lot of brides like that were very expecting of a lot for their day, and just remember that, you know, this is for you and no one else, and you know, if you want to do it, be organised.
I was going to say, last tip is to share the load for planning. Because with my darling, she did a lot of like planning, getting all the vendors, like coming up with all the ideas and lists. Like as soon as I proposed, she started planning straight away. I was like, damn, she
like,
was
we're
ready.
Getting married.
I was like, okay. But no, share the load, like make sure you help and make sure you give your ideas as well, not just one side. But it turned out perfect, like, because I know we both have the same like taste of everything, so it's like I agree with anything anyway. So
be kind to your vendors. Oh my god, make sure they have a plate of food, make sure that you give them takeaway bags, make sure that they have a seat.
Treat them as your guests.
You would not be there without all of them, so you better make sure you take care of them. We made sure that we sent them home with some wine, we sent them home with some food, some cake. They are so important, and to make sure that you're thanking them all night and just working real well with that team, because that's your team that's going to make your day the best day ever. So
take them for granted.
Yeah. Start thinking of them as more important as your family on that day, because they will be.
They're the people you spend more time with.
Create a good relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, so true. Love to hear that as a wedding vendor. And like, you're always going to do the best job, but it's so appreciated when your clients just like trust you and look after you. So love that.
That's another thing that we reciprocated a lot from our vendors, was they were just so thankful that we trusted in their vision. Like, if you have a photographer look at their work before you book that photographer. Like, if you don't like their work, then you're not going to like your photos. So
be brutally honest.
be honest with yourself. Like, they do what they're good at, and you're trying to find them, not the other way around. So yeah, it's really trusting them in their work. Like, our photographer, videographer, and DJ and everyone, we purely said to them when we booked them, we booked you because we love your work, and whatever you do on the day is going to be good for us. So we kind of left it all in their hands to, you know, try to sit back and not be a bridezilla about anything, and just trust their work. Like, they're professionals, they've been here before, they've done this. And if you like their work, then that's what will come for you. So trusting that.
Absolutely, that's how it should be, really, not just booking someone and then being like, this is what we want. Like, book the people because you love what they already do and they're going to come through. So yeah, great advice. And what is married life like now? It's probably a little bit too early to ask this, but do you feel like you got any of the post-wedding blues?
Not blues.
Nah,
not blues. I'm sure that will come probably next week.
Yeah.
But it's just my favourite thing in the world to be like, this is my wife, Mrs. Amorangi. Like, it's my
You
favourite.
changed your names as well.
Yes, yeah, we changed
So
our
cool.
names, yeah. We had both white names, last names. That didn't align with us anymore, and we are two women that love my family though. We're two women who wanted to create our own family, and we wanted our own name, and we don't have very many women
who's changed their last names.
Yeah, women last names. We want our kids to have our name.
But
Period.
little story though, it's actually very normal in Te Ao Māori to change their names, especially if it is their last name. Because actually, back in the days before, you know, the European and stuff, they actually never had last names. It was only first names. But because of this time, we're like,
you would add
it's so normal.
Yeah, you would add an extension onto your name when you had a big event back before colonization. So I think incorporating that was so cool for us. Like, we got to do that.
And even with our last name, like it is a Māori name, and we're very proud to have a Māori last name, but it's also like very meaningful as well. So it's not just a name. So that's another reason why it's important that it's part of our Te Ao Māori, you know, circle. So it's really cool to carry that.
Yeah, so special, just sharing that name. And yeah, it's kind of like starting your own family, getting married. It's new commitment. So married life's going well.
Bliss. After all that planning, after all the blood, sweat and tears, it's done. We're just like, oh, relaxing.
Yeah, it feels very wholesome at the end of the day. So
we did some good aftercare. Like, we went for a spa.
Oh yeah,
going out for dinner. Because a wedding is such a big thing. I feel like you need to break it up by having some smaller things to do after, like a nice spa and a nice dinner, to like slowly integrate yourself out of that instead of just going straight home and then you're home now and it's all done.
Try to ease back into reality.
That'll hit you. So we made sure to have some aftercare after the wedding. So
I think it's important to have at least a week break after your wedding.
Yeah, true.
Try soak it in, you know.
Go through your guest book and sit down and go through
all the presents and
Yeah, that's great advice. Love that. Amazing. So cool to chat to you both today. Is there anything else you want to add or say to engage people as we wrap up?
Good luck. Be organised. It'll come how it's supposed to. Everything falls into place. Everything will fall into place, whether you're freaking out or not. It's going to happen. You're going to walk down that aisle. Do things that are unique to you. Make sure that your wedding is unique. You want people to walk away and remember you too, not remember just the wedding. So
don't think about it as it's about impressing others. It's about what you want for your day. So
and queer representation is very, very important. There's another big thing.
Yeah, don't be shy to be proud of who you are and who you're going to be with for the rest of your life.
Love it. We'll hope this helps. Yay. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. So nice to meet you, and I'm so glad that you do this for other couples. So much fun.